Matthew Ladd here. This week on Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T. Trucks and Tips, I'm behind the wheel of a Kenworth to show you the three different Kenworth seat options: the GT701, the GT702, and the GT703 seats. We're really going to focus on the different controls available on each different seat. With every seat, there's different materials available, there's different colors available, but this video is to really go through the controls of the Kenworth GT701, 702, and GT703 seat. Let's go take a look. Here you have the Kenworth GT701 seat. You have the vertical position controls located here, one lumbar support, and the same adjustments underneath the seat as the Kenworth GT702 and 703. Here you have the Kenworth GT702 seat. You'll see you get the upper back and the lumbar air adjustment. This pallet here for the vertical controls. This is your suspension control, your auto suspension dump, and then you get the same swing control and the two pallet controls underneath the seat with the same handle at the bottom and the same lever at the back. Here we have a Kenworth GT703 seat. As I mentioned before, there's various material options you can choose from, and this seat comes heated and ventilated. I want to take you through the controls it has. You have the side supports, the higher back support, and the lower back air support. This is to adjust the seat up and down. Here you have the suspension control, whether you want the seat to bounce more or bounce less. Here you have the auto suspension dump, which will dump the seat all the way down to the ground for when you get out of the truck. And when you click on it again, it'll bring it back to the same position. And underneath the seat here, this is the front back swing control. And you have two controls here. One part will adjust your tilt at the pivot point of the seat and the back. And the second control will just adjust the seat of the truck to move it forward and backwards for proper leg support. And on all models, like the other ones, this is to move the seat forward and backwards. And here is to adjust the back of the seat. And there you have it, the three different seats brought to you by Kenworth, available on T680s, T880s, and W990s. The GT701, GT702, and the GT703, which is available in ultra leather with heated and ventilated seats. Whatever you choose for your truck, make sure the choice is right for you and right for your drivers. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips. Hello, I'm back this week to show you guys a great new option on Kenworth trucks when wheelbase and having a short wheelbase is important for your operations. This is the steps located directly on the def tank. The advantage of this is in this configuration, you have the fuel tank underneath the cab, the def tank located here, and you don't have to push back more to put an additional step. You just mount the steps directly on the def tank. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Here, this week on Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, I want to talk about the heating and the AC controls on your Kenworth 2.1 meter cab. Whether it be a Kenworth medium duty, T180, T280, 380, 480, or 480V, or a Kenworth T680, T880, or W990, you're going to have the same setup to these controls. So let's go take a look how they work. So right now we're currently in manual mode. You can see that the auto light is not lit up, and I have a blue light here, a blue light here, and a blue light here. Now if I click on automatic mode, there's multiple temp sensors in the truck, and you'll see I'm at 72 degrees right now. That is lit up blue. Now if I just want it to be in automatic mode, but I only want the air to hit my feet, it's really simple. Just touch this here, and you'll see that will light up blue. I'm in 72, but my fan is still on automatic mode. The second you touch the fan, well, now I'm automatically out of automatic temperature control mode. There's also a great button here for max defrost, so that if your window does start to get foggy, instead of turning this, and this, which is three buttons that you're not focused on the road and you're reaching over the side, you simply, I'll put it back to where it was, you simply click here and it does the equivalent of those three turns all at once. Once your windshield is defrosted, you click auto here and you return back to your normal mode. Another great button on these trucks is right here, people often overlook, the fan with the man sleeping. If you click on this, you can hear it over my shoulder. Now, the air conditioning or the heating is split between the front and the back of the cab, which can allow you to preheat or pre-cool your sleeper compartment before you stop for the end of the day. And that's a quick look at the heating and air conditioning controls on your Kenworth 2.1 meter cab. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips. Hello, Matthew Ladd here, back in a Kenworth sleeper. I want to show everybody out there some of the controls that are located, in this case, behind the driver's seat, for the driver when they're in the sleeper compartment to run the inverter, the idle management, lock the doors, and various other systems on a Kenworth truck. Let's go take a look. So this is the area behind the driver's seat in the sleeper compartment. Here you have your Kenworth idle management controls, which will control your heating and air conditioning. Here's the Eaton 1800 watt factory installed inverter controls. This here is how you turn on the fridge. You have a 12 volt 120 watt plug here, a USB charger. This truck also has the additional option of an alarm in the back here, which you can control the alarm settings here. You can lock the doors just in case if you weren't sure if you locked the doors or not before you went into the sleeper bunk. Then you have light controls here. And this, not to be confused, this is the truck AC controls. You need to make sure on the dash that you've activated the sleeper heating and AC, and then you can control the truck AC. This is for the Kenworth idle management system controls. This is for the truck. And then you also have a little snowflake for the air conditioning. And that's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips for this week. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd ici. Cette semaine, j'ai décidé de salisser mes mains un petit peu pour vous montrer une belle option pour mettre vos crochets de remorque ou vos tow hooks. On est en dessous du capot, sur le côté passager du camion. Cette option, c'est pour mettre les tow hooks ou les crochets directement sur le châssis en dessous du hood. Au lieu de prendre l'espace d'habitude dans le coffre du couchette, ça donne plus d'espace pour entreposage, puis ça donne moins de tic-tic-tic dans le coffre du camion. Alors ça marche comme ça. Ça prend un douille 18 mm et facilement, on peut l'enlever ici. Et ça ouvre de même, on enlève le pin ici. Puis maintenant, on a nos crochets pour mettre sur le frame en avant du camion pour nous sortir d'un trou. Ça, c'est T.N.T pour cette semaine et mon nom est Matthew Ladd. Merci. Matthew Ladd here. This week I want to talk to you about the Zinc Phosphate frame rail paint processing option. I know it's a big mouthful, but simply what it does is it helps reduce corrosion on your frame rails over the life of the truck. This is pretty much a standard feature when we're building a truck in Canada, but it's something important to look at when you're speccing a truck with your sales rep. Now, what does zinc phosphate do? It converts the metal surface into a non-metallic before the truck is painted, thus greatly reducing the amount of corrosion. Now, will you still see a little bit of corrosion? Unfortunately, in Canada or in cold weather climates, with the amount of salt we put on the roads, you're always going to see a little bit, but it is greatly reduced with the zinc phosphate frame rail paint processing option. Say that 3 times fast. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and don't forget to ask for this option when you're speccing the truck. Thank you. Matthew Ladd with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips. Hi everybody, I'm back this week to show you more stuff about the T680 Next Gen 76-inch sleeper. This week we're going to show you 2 of the 3 possible fairing options on the truck. Let's go take a look. This is the Kenworth T680 Next Gen. You'll see the steps are offset and are more flush with the cabin, providing a better ingress and egress. You can also see here, you have an additional indicator light that comes standard to provide more security on the road. Also, the def tank, and possibly if you want your fuel cap, can be located in the center of the truck, making it more easily accessible. Also underneath, your extension is now plastic and much more durable in my opinion. You also don't have the integral step option because you have better aerodynamics already with the new design of the Kenworth T680 side fairings. This is the Kenworth T680 Classic. You'll see the steps are stacked one over the other and they actually stick out a little bit from the truck. There's a full fairing option. You'll see the def tank located on the side there. And it's a rubber extender underneath to provide even better aerodynamics. And you'll see this one has the full fairing with integral step. You also have the option without the integral step on the T680 Classic. Now, fairings aren't for everybody, so you also have this option with your DPF SCR hidden behind the checker plate, or diamond plate, as some people call it here. This one has a side object detector, but you can see the fuel tanks are exposed. So that's part 3 in our series, checking out the fairings on the Kenworth T680 Classic versus the T680 Next Gen. I'm a big fan of the location right there of the def tank and possibly the fuel cap, providing better aerodynamics and easier access to those items. You can also have the same thing on the other side with the fuel tank, having a mid-range fuel cell position instead of the rear of the sleeper, which can sometimes be awkward to get to. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd ici. Cette semaine, j'aimerais vous parler d'une belle option que vous pouvez mettre sur votre camion Kenworth. Dans le cas derrière moi, j'ai un Kenworth T680. Cette option, c'est important si vous faites des remorques de combinaison. Ça, c'est un petit crochet ici de l'usine, monté direct sur le crossmember pour tirer tes Dolly de Remoquq. La raison, c'est important, si vous faites des combinaisons, des 2,53 pieds ensemble, vous avez un petit Dolly à enlever et à installer quand vous connectez et déconnectez les remorques. Mais c'est une belle option. Celui-là a une capacité de 15 000 livres et ça vient avec le crochet, aussi les crochets de sécurité déjà montés sur le crossmember du camion. Vous avez aussi l'option d'ajouter des connexions à l'air et le 7-way en bas des lumières. C'est une belle option à considérer à ajouter sur votre camion directement de l'usine de Kenworth. Alors, si vous faites ce type d'application, regardez dans la description, je mets le code pour mettre ça directement sur votre camion. Ça, c'est TNT pour cette semaine et mon nom est Matthew Ladd. Merci. Matthew Ladd here with Packley's Montreal Leasing top tips for this week. This week I'm coming to you from the upper bunk of a sleeper behind the safety net that comes standard with every upper bunk. Let's take a look at some more options for your sleeper. With the upper bunk option, it comes with this great security net, which has a structure built into it to keep it off the driver's body. And this net easily secures by a clip up here at the top. So you just lift it up and lock it in. And when you want to pull it down, you have this great easy to use rope to bring the bunk down. Another option to consider in your sleeper instead of an upper bunk is additional storage with 2 cabinets, one on your left and one on your right, and a great recessed shelf in the middle with security netting. Also, which comes standard with the lower bunk, is security netting once again to keep the net off the driver's body but still be comfortable and secure. Now, the additional storage is great if you have a solo driver, and the second bed is a must if you're running teams. If you're not sure what you want to get, I always recommend getting the second bed, as this opens up a bigger resale market for your truck. And also, if you have a solo driver and he has to share the truck at some point, the other driver will sit on the upper bunk and not on the lower bunk that the original driver was using. And that's Packley's Montreal Leasing top tips for this week. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd here. This week on Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, I'm going to take you through the Kenworth GT Series seat. This week I'm going to show you the GT 703 seat and all the options available on it. This is the top end seat offered by Kenworth. There's also the GT 701 and GT 702, which have a little less options than the 703. Let me take you through all the controls on the Kenworth GT703 seat. So on the seat, here are your lumbar controls. On the GT703, you have three lumbar controls available. This to move the seat up and down. Here's to control your suspension of the seat. So if I go like this, the seat suspension is looser. If I go all the way this way, it's tighter. Here, the truck has a memory. So instead of lifting your steering wheel up to get out of the truck, you can just press this one button right here. The seat will drop down, and then when you go to get back in, you push it again, and it will slide back up to the same level it was at before. Underneath here, right here, this is the front back swing of the seat, the controls to control if you want that on or off. And right under here, there's two pallets. The first pallet is the tilt pallet, which will pivot your seat on a pivot point like this. And the one to the right of that just moves the seat and not the back to ensure that you have proper support for your legs. And then right here at the bottom, that's to slide the seat forward and backwards. Now on this Kenworth GT703 seat, you have the option, this is on the inside section, you have the option of ventilated and heated seats. If you had the heated only option, you would just have this little symbol located right there. If you don't have the heated seat, then you don't have this button. And that's an overview of the controls on the Kenworth GT703 seat. It's always important to spec the right seat. This is where the driver will spend most of his time in the truck, and you want to make sure that he's comfortable. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, TrucksNTips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd here, behind the wheel of a Kenworth T800 72-inch sleeper, currently available for sale. I'll put the link in the description. But that aside, I want to talk to you today about manual transmissions. Yes, most of the industry is moving to automated manual 12-speed and 18-speed transmissions. But today I want to talk to you about the differences between a 13-speed manual and an 18-speed manual. What it comes down to is the split gears. And I'm going to show you what the split gear is, and I'm going to show you a little top view to see how the gears are set up on a heavy-duty truck versus what a lot of people not in the trucking industry are used to, a manual transmission car. Let's go take a look at the differences between a 13 and an 18-speed manual transmission. So for all the non-truckers out there, I just want to show you the side controls here on a manual transmission. First, you have the gear split here, which is easy to move with your thumb when your hand is on top. And then you have the paddle shifter here, which takes you between your high and your low gears. Now, to explain this better, we're just going to drop down here and look at the top where it shows what gears. So when I'm saying high-low, the half splits. This is an 18-speed transmission. On an 18, you have the high-low in low gear, gear 1, 2, 3, and 4. When you have a 13-speed manual transmission, you only have the splits on gear 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, why would you want to have an 18-speed with split gears on gear 1, 2, 3, and 4? This is really to maintain your power, your horsepower, and your torque when hauling heavier, when you need more control over the engine and more control over your power. Versus if you had a 13-speed, you don't necessarily need that control in the low gears, you more need it in the high gears. So that is the difference between a 13-speed and an 18-speed manual transmission. And that's a quick look for everybody out there who maybe didn't really understand the differences between a 13 and 18, or who aren't in the trucking industry and have never seen a trucking transmission before. I'm sure the professionals out there, the amazing truck drivers that keep these trucks on the road, will know a lot more about the differences between the 13 and the 18. But at the end of the day, with an 18-speed transmission, you have more control over the splits in your gears to have shorter steps between gears and maintain your power, whether you're taking off or you're going up a large hill with a heavy load. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, TrucksNTips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Okay, so let's start with the front door. This is the panel on the Kenworth Vantage. Here is the door panel on a diamond interior. Matthew Ladd here. This week on Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, TrucksNTips, I want to show you how to use the Precheck switch on your Kenworth T680, T880, or W990 truck. Let's take you through how the Precheck works. So I'm currently in one of our stock day cabs available for sale right now. The Precheck switch is right here. You click this and it will do a systems check of 12 systems on your truck. It will also cycle through your low beams, your high beams, and your four-way flashers to make sure that your truck is A-OK to hit the road. You'll see here it's going through all 12 systems. Check everything is all right before you get going down the road. There's our flashers and our high beams. Checking our brake system, our air filter, and the exterior lights. This will also pop up. You'll see we have no warnings, 12 systems okay, 0 critical warnings, and 0 non-critical warnings. And when you're done your pre-check, you just flip the switch again, and you're ready to go if everything is okay. If you have a critical or a non-critical warning, often you'll get more details. So when you call the service department or your garage, you can explain a little bit more what's going on with your truck. So it's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, TrucksNTips, and don't forget to use the Precheck button. Matthew Ladd with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, TrucksNTips. Hello, I'm behind the wheel of a Kenworth T680 Next Gen, and I want to show everybody today how to do a quick reset of a yellow check engine on the truck. Now this will work on a Next Gen T880 or W990 with a new digital dash. The only reason you should be doing this on your truck is if, let's say, the truck got repaired at the dealership and in the end they forgot to flash the ECM of the truck. So you need that check engine to go away to make your run. Check with the dealer. They say, we did all the work. Sorry, we forgot. Errors happen sometimes. So I'm going to walk you through how to do this on the truck. I've tried it myself on a truck with a check engine and it worked. So I hope it works for all of you. Let's go take a look. Okay, so as you can see, I'm behind the wheel of a T680 Next Gen. I'm sitting behind the wheel, everything is off. If your truck was already running, you'd have to make sure that everything is shut off completely. And then you go here, turn the key on, wait about a second, turn it off. Turn the key on again, turn it off. And you're going to do this a total of 7 times before you start the truck. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then wait for the truck to connect up and start up. Just wait for all these codes to go away. And now, ready to start the truck. Now it's very important to only do this if you have the permission from the dealer. I'm not responsible for any damages that happen to your truck. I'm just showing you a quick tip that I've learned that I've showed on the T680 Classic, and it also applies to the T680 Next Gen, T880, and W990 series of trucks. I hope I can help you guys out with this tip. Have a great day. It's Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned. Matthew Ladd with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, TrucksNTips. This week we're going to take you through the different controls on the new side camera mirrors on Kenworth T680 trucks. I'm going to take you through how to adjust it, the different views you get, and the different options these controls have. Let's go take a look at the controls of the new camera mirror on the Kenworth T680 truck. So you will see here, you have your dimmer up, down, also your menu controls. This is the night vision selection button, and this is your view control. So to be able to change the view on the truck, the first step, actually you'll notice here, if I click on this, it gives you that little logo. That's to remind you to push down here to the camera option. Then we'll go on the left screen. And if I click here, you'll see you have the panoramic view and the traditional view. Now we'll go over to the right side by just tapping on the controls. And it's already in panoramic. Now, if I click on that same view control button, I have this new view with the optional look down camera, or the classic with the convex, or the panoramic view again. Now, if we come back over here, you'll see these 3 lines. I'm going to talk about this in another video. That's the trailer marker lines, and we're going to show you how to set that up. Now, that was just a quick look on how to adjust the cameras on these new trucks and how to play around with the screen and the menu. I am going to post at the end of this video for probably about 5 seconds the user guide just in case you guys missed something or just in case you want to review so you don't have to keep watching the video. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips. Matthew Ladd here with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips. This week I'm going to show you a new option on the Kenworth 76-inch sleepers, whether that be a T680 Next Gen, a T880, or a W990. This is the customer installed fridge option. We're going to go take a look at it right now. Now we're in the sleeper. You'll see here that's your typical microwave spot, a little TV bracket, and this is the new option from Kenworth. You have a rubber platform to avoid more vibrations. Below here you have a 12 volt and 120 volt connector. And you also have straps to connect the fridge to the floor. And you get an additional little cup holder and storage space behind the fridge. And on the other side, you'll see here, you get an additional storage compartment where your factory fridge would typically be installed. This is a great new option from Kenworth. It's very popular if you're running team drivers and you need more fridge space or a larger freezer space in the truck. You can fit a 30-inch tall fridge by 20.25 inches in the space provided over here. Just make sure that your fridge has straps on the doors so that you don't have the fridge doors swinging open when you're driving down the road. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips. Hello everybody, I'm back this week under my umbrella, LAA, on this beautiful day to show you a couple different options, actually two different options of the hood on the Kenworth T680 Next Gen. Let's take a look. So we have a great side-by-side here of two T680 Next Gen sleepers with the two different hood options on the truck. The first truck here has the 125 BBC, which is bumper to back of cab hood on the truck, and the one over here has the 119 BBC bumper to back of cab hood on the truck. As you can see from the air intake to the front of the hood, it's a short distance on the 119, and on the 125 you have a much larger distance between the air intake and the hood. Both the 125 and the 119 BBC hood come with optional split fenders. Split fenders are required if you don't have under cab fairings. Now for the 119 BBC, it's only available with a PACCAR MX-13 engine, and the 125 you can fit a Cummins X15 or a PACCAR MX-13 engine in the truck. And that's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd here with Packley's Montreal Leasing top tips for this week. This week I'm sitting in one of our Kenworth T880 wet kit day cabs, which is currently for sale. And we're going to take a look at how to set up your Bluetooth system for your truck. This is standard on all rental trucks in Montreal. Now let's take a look at how to set up your Bluetooth. Now to set up your Bluetooth, the first step is to make sure your phone is discoverable in your phone's settings. After that, you hold this button here. It'll say Connect PH, which is phone. You turn the dial here to add phone and you click. Now it is searching for my phone. I will be prompted on my phone to accept this device, and from there, we're connected. It's just as simple as that. Your Bluetooth microphone will either be located here on the A-pillar or here on the windshield. This will allow you to be able to speak clearly and safely even while the truck is running. Always be careful and be safe while using Bluetooth while driving a truck. Now, depending on your model year, the radio display might look a little different, but the process remains virtually the same. That's Packley's Montreal Leasing top tips for this week. Thank you, and stay tuned for more tips in the future. Matthew Ladd here. This week on Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, I want to talk to you about the engine auto start stop feature. More importantly, the different setups you can have and what the engine auto start stop will do in each different setup. So the first setup you can have is the engine auto start stop, which senses the engine temperature. You have the fuel auto start stop, which is a great option if you're running in climates where you go from summer fuel, but you go into a more winter, colder area, this will auto and stop the truck based on the fuel temperature. You have the batteries, the starting batteries, engine auto start stop. You have the sleeper temperature, which is a great feature to have. You also have the KIMS batteries, auto start stop to charge the batteries on the KIMS system. And then you can also combine two together. You can put the batteries with the engine or the fuel with the sleeper temp in the same great auto start stop feature. Now there is certain parameters that your truck is required to have, and it's very important that you talk to your local sales representative to more about these different options. Please stay tuned for more tips in the future. I'm Matthew Ladd, and this Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T. Trucks and Tips. Area behind the driver's seat in the sleeper compartment. Here you have your Kenworth idle management controls, which will control your heating and air conditioning. Here's the Eaton 1800 watt factory installed inverter controls. This here is how you turn on the fridge. You have a 12 volt 120 watt plug here, a USB charger. This truck also has the additional option of an alarm in the back here, which you can control the alarm settings here. You can lock the doors just in case if you weren't sure if you locked the doors or not before you went into the sleeper bunk. Then you have light controls here. And this, not to be confused, this is the truck AC controls. You need to make sure on the dash that you've activated the sleeper heating and AC, and then you can control the truck AC. This is for the KIMS, Kenworth Idle Management System controls. This is for the truck. And then you also have a little snowflake for the air conditioning. Matthew Ladd here. This week on Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T. Trucks and Tips, I want to talk to you about this right here, the remote option. And as you can see, there's your standard lock, unlock, but more importantly, you have this little check mark here, your pre-check. So when you walk up the truck, you click this, and it will do your entire pre-check. It will check all your lights. You'll see in a second, your high beams will flash. It'll also put on your four-ways on the truck and the trailer. And when you get behind the wheel of the truck, you'll see the pre-check that's been done on the computer to check all your systems are okay. So instead of having to go inside the truck to do the pre-check, which I'll show you in the next video, you can just buy this remote option, and the advantage of the lock and the unlock, but more importantly, the pre-check without ever having to step inside the truck. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T. Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd here. This week, I want to show you this great option from factory that we have for yarding dollies. It's a Pintle hook with security loops and even options to put your glad hands and your 7-way mounted on the lighting bracket. This is important if you have a yarding dolly or a Jeep dolly. Everyone calls different things, but what it does is when you're pulling combination trailers, which is two 53-foot trailers at the same time, you have a Jeep dolly that connects the two trailers together. Well, to unhook and to connect these trailers together, you need this option. And why pay more money to get it installed locally when you can get it directly from Kenworth factory? That's why I put the sales code in the description so you can talk to your Kenworth sales rep about it more. But it's a great option that you can add, clean looking, directly from Kenworth factory. Amazing if you have a Jeep dolly type application. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T. Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd here. This week I want to take you through the new navigation system, which includes Apple CarPlay, that you can get on your Kenworth 2.1 meter cab. Let's take a look. So here, you'll see a navigation system here, clearly displaying the date and the time. You have your dimmer control right there, your voiceover controls, your USB control, and your home screen, which is really handy if you're in the menus. Just go right back to the home screen, which is where we are now. Now, if I had the CarPlay, I could click there if it was connected, which is not currently. Just click home. Then we go here. That's when I put power off. Sorry, it's a great feature. When I put power off, it just shows the date and the time. Then you can go into here, your radio controls. Very simple. You can click back up here, or I just like using the home button. It's very easy to use. Sirius right there. If we had a camera system or Bluetooth music connected, that would be lit up. Go to the next screen here, USB music, if we were plugged in right here, which we're currently not. Auxiliary in, alarm, which is great. You can set a quick alarm for you at low or high volume. If you want to take a quick little nap, and just have a backup to your phone. Then if we go right in here, that's the radio. We'll just scroll over like that. We can go into the setup over here. In the setup, we have our date, our time, our format, the reversing sound, background sound, English, French, and Spanish. Go back to factory default settings. You go into here. You have your display settings, how you'd like it all to be set up. Then you go into here, your equalizer for your music to really have custom control to have the music playing just right for you. This is if we had additional paired devices. I'm currently not paired to this truck. And then your last step here is your head unit or your Apple CarPlay controls. So your Apple CarPlay's controls right there. We'll go back, click the home button. What I also want to show you on the device list here is the navigation. Now this takes up less space, is integrated right in the dash as opposed to a separate head unit or a separately mounted unit. So it's great here. You can go into here, you can go into settings and your vehicle settings. This is your route planning method. You can turn on different settings here, go through all that. And you go into your vehicle settings. You can set all your different controls here, your length, your height, your trailers, and whatever you want to set up there to make sure this is your type of freight also. And all these factors in here will control the type of runs that you're doing with the truck and where you're headed to make sure you're headed the right way and not down a small street with a 53-foot trailer. And here, like I said, you just go right back to home. So that's a quick look at the new system, which also includes Apple CarPlay, which you can use via Bluetooth or connect it directly to the USB. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, TrucksNTips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, TrucksNTips. Matthew Ladd here in the sleeper area of a Kenworth T680 sleeper. This week's Trucks and Tips will apply to T680s, T880s, and W990s with a refrigerator. This week I'm going to show you how to remove the freezer section of the refrigerator to make more refrigerator space. It's a simple little thing that not everybody notices that's available on the trucks. Let's take a look. So here's the fridge. We just open it up like this. You open up the freezer section. There's a little latch here. You slide that up. And then, boom, just like that, you can slide out the additional freezer compartment and add more refrigerator space. Matthew Ladd here. This week on Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, I'm going to show you a great feature on automated transmissions. Whether you have a Packard TX12, an Endurant 12-speed, a TX18 Pro, or an Endurant XD 18-speed automated manual transmission, this feature is for you. We're going to show you how to use the multiple reverse gears on these trucks. Let's go take a look. Now on all these models, when you go into reverse, all you have to do to get the additional reverse gears is tap up on the shifter stalk. Now we're in R2. And you tap up again, we'll be in R3. Now, depending on your transmission, if you have the 12-speed, you have 2 additional reverse gears. And if you go with the 18-speed Pro or XD model, you'll have 6 reverse gears. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, talking to you a little bit more about automated manual transmissions. Thank you. Matthew Ladd here. This week on Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, I'm going to take you through the Kenworth GT Series seat. This week I'm going to show you the GT 703 seat and all the options available on it. This is the top end seat offered by Kenworth. There's also the GT 701 and GT 702, which have a little less options than the 703. Let me take you through all the controls on the Kenworth GT 703 seat. So on the seat, here are your lumbar controls. On the GT 703, you have three lumbar controls available. This to move the seat up and down. Here's to control your suspension of the seat. So if I go like this, the seat suspension is looser. If I go all the way this way, it's tighter. Here, the truck has a memory. So instead of lifting your steering wheel up to get out of the truck, you can just press this one button right here. The seat will drop down, and then when you go to get back in, you push it again, and it will slide back up to the same level it was at before. Underneath here, right here, this is the front back swing of the seat, the controls to control if you want that on or off. And right under here, there's two pallets. The first pallet is the tilt pallet, which will pivot your seat on a pivot point like this. And the one to the right of that just moves the seat and not the back to ensure that you have proper support for your legs. And then right here at the bottom, that's to slide the seat forward and backwards. Now on this Kenworth GT703 seat, you have the option, this is on the inside section, you have the option of ventilated and heated seats. If you had the heated only option, you would just have this little symbol located right there. If you don't have the heated seat, then you don't have this button. And that's an overview of the controls on the Kenworth GT703 seat. It's always important to spec the right seat. This is where the driver will spend most of his time in the truck, and you want to make sure that he's comfortable. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, TrucksNTips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd ici. Cette semaine, j'aimerais vous montrer une belle option pour être capable d'enlever vos braquettes de Mudflap sur le derrière de ton camion. Cette option est disponible de l'usine de Kenworth. Je vais mettre le code de vente dans la description du vidéo. Je vais vous montrer comment ça marche. Simplement, tu as un pin ici sur le braquette. Cette option est très intéressante quand vous avez une application que ça nécessite un petit peu plus d'espace en arrière. Alors, on enlève ça, comme ça. On enlève le pin qui est ici. Et juste comme ça, j'ai le braquette de Mudflap dans mes mains. Maintenant, où est-ce qu'on va mettre ça? Je vais vous montrer ça. On a un espace sur le frame exactement pour prendre le Mudflap en attendant. Alors maintenant, je suis sur le côté. On va mettre ça à terre. Un instant. On va ici. On enlève le pin. On a un petit braquette ici pour le mettre sur l'autre braquette qui est montée sur le frame en arrière pour le protéger. On va mettre ça de côté pour l'instant. On prend notre Mudflap ici. Ça monte directement là-dedans. Comme ça. Et on remet notre pin. Et juste comme ça, vous êtes capable de déplacer vos Mudflaps. Alors, si c'est important pour vous autres d'avoir cette option, c'est une façon facile d'avoir ça de l'usine directement pour moins cher qu'une installation locale. C'est le groupe Kenworth Montréal T.N.T pour cette semaine et mon nom est Matthew Ladd. Merci. Matthew Ladd here with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, TrucksNTips. This week, I'm going to take you through the difference between the Vantage and the Diamond interior on a Kenworth day cab tractor. Let's go take a look. Matthew Ladd here with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, TrucksNTips. This week, we're taking a look at the Packard TX12 automated transmission. This is often referred to as an automatic transmission. It's actually an automated transmission because there's still a clutch in the transmission that engages and disengages when shifting gears, but there is no clutch pedal. And when you look at the shifter, there's neutral, drive, and reverse. Let's take a look at the shifter. The Packard TX12 shifter comes mounted standard on the steering column. And like on automatic transmission, you have drive, neutral, and reverse. You can also change it to manual mode at any time by clicking there and tapping up and down. Also, your engine brake is located on the shifter by pushing the shifter downwards. All these options will be shown on the dash if you activate manual mode or your engine brake. And if you ever forget about the controls, located behind your sun visor is a brief summary of how the controls work. When speccing the TX12 transmission, it's important to know that there's two options for how the truck gets into gear. Creep mode, which advances the truck slowly, it creeps forward or creeps in reverse, and urge to move, which when you remove your foot from the brake pedal, the truck has an urge to move. So it's important to know that when you're speccing the truck, to spec it correctly for your application. And that's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd ici. Cette semaine sur TNT, je vais vous montrer comment nettoyer ou changer votre filtre du système KIMS. Le système KIMS, c'est le système de génératrice indépendant du moteur du camion pour fournir l'air climatisé et le chauffage. Maintenant, je suis assis en dessous du lit dans la couchette. Le système est situé juste ici. On a le filtre qui est bleu. C'est si simple de l'enlever. Vous pouviez le laver avec l'eau. Pas besoin du savon. Très important d'assurer que c'est complètement sèche avant de le remettre. Ou vous pouviez aller aux pièces puis juste acheter un nouveau filtre. C'est en dessous de 10 $ pour un nouveau filtre. Alors, c'est simplement le remettre comme ça. Puis c'est tout. Puis la lumière qui va allumer sur vos contrôles de système KIMS, si vous tenez le bouton Enter pour 3 secondes, ça va enlever la lumière Check Fit. Aussi, le Check Fit va allumer automatiquement aux 500 heures de roulement du système. Système KIMS, c'est une très belle option d'ajouter à votre camion Kenworth. Comme mentionné, je vais dire une autre fois, important, si vous lavez ça avec l'eau seulement, assurez que c'est complètement sèche ou juste acheter une nouvelle pièce. C'est très important de checker vos filtres comme tous les filtres sur un camion ou les filtres dans votre maison. S'il y a beaucoup de poussière là-dedans, ça enlève la qualité de l'air qui sort puis aussi souvent la puissance de l'air. Et ça, c'est comment changer le filtre ou le nettoyer le filtre sur votre système KIMS. Merci beaucoup. Bonne journée. Matthew Ladd here. This week I decided to get my hands a little bit dirty to show you a great option for the tow hooks on your truck. Now if you don't know, the tow hooks are what are mounted directly to the frame to help tow you out of a trouble situation. But where do you keep them? Often people would keep them in the toolbox compartment of the sleeper. Well now, I'll put the sales code in the description, you can get them frame mounted in front. All you need is an 18mm socket. You go right here. And just like that, you have access to your tow hooks. They're not rattling around the toolbox. They're not taking up additional storage space. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips for this week. And this is the frame-mounted tow hook option from Kenworth. Thank you. Matthew Ladd with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips. Now, another great feature offered on Kenworth on all models from medium duty to heavy duty, except for the T800 and T900, is the front radar and adaptive cruise control system. The T680 here, again, from Packers Montreal, thank you, Paige, for making me say. The system is located right here, whether you have the chrome bumper or the regular bumper from factory. And now we're going to take a look inside and talk a little bit more about how the system works and integrates directly into the digital dash. Let's go take a look. Now we're behind the wheel of the truck, and you can see all your adaptive cruise control pop-ups and settings and any warnings that would come while you're driving the truck when the adaptive cruise control is active with the radar would appear on the bottom section here. Sorry, it's a little tough to show you guys with the truck not driving down the road. The Bendix Fusion adaptive cruise control system comes with two options. One with an optional video camera recorder, and you'll actually see it's located right up here in the center of the windshield, and one without. You can also have lane departure warnings similar to most cars on the road today with this system. Now, why would you want this? Well, it's a standard system on a Kenworth. If you remove it, you have about a $1,700 credit on the list price of the truck. And this system just makes driving down the road safer. You have adaptive cruise control, which can adapt to the distance. It also tracks the car in front of you and follows it. So if you get passed by a car that maintains its speed, the truck won't react. But if you get passed by a car that slows down, the truck will react, making the truck safer on the roads and to avoid a costly accident. So for a $1,700 option, it could save you thousands of dollars in the cost of insurance, let alone the damages to the truck and the damages to the car and the general safety on the road. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. First off, it's in the safety stowed position. You simply slide it over here. Then you want to pull down the upper bunk first. We flip this open here, like so. Then we push this part down. Always make sure you have at least 3 points of contact when going up and down. Safety first, and then you simply climb up. And just like that, you're comfortably seated in the top bunk of the sleeper. Matthew Ladd here. I'm in the back of a Kenworth T680 sleeper this week to talk to you about the Kenworth Idle Management System. And to make this video short, we're going to call it the KIMS for short. So what is the KIMS? The KIMS is an APU, or some people refer to it as a generator. An APU is an auxiliary power unit. In simple terms, the KIMS system, or an APU or a generator, allows the truck engine to be off, so it's not idling, it's saving the environment, and a separate system runs the sleeper compartment, air conditioning, and heating. With the KIMS system, it's a battery-powered unit. There's 4 separate batteries to run the KIMS system air conditioner, and this is joined together with an S-Bar D2 or an S-Bar D4, depending on what you're looking for and what your application is. So we're going to show you really quick what the controls look like, what the extra components are added to your truck when you get a truck with the Kenworth Idle Management System. Let's go take a look. So in the back of the sleeper compartment behind the driver's seat, right here we have the Kenworth Idle Management Controls. This has an auto thermostat, a 3-speed fan, and I'm going to take you through all the controls in a later video. Now let me show you where the other components are located. So right now I've lifted up the bed. We're looking under the sleeper, in the sleeper compartment underneath the bed. So here you have your S-Bar D2 or D4, depending on the option you choose from factory. And over here, right behind it, you have your brushless DC compressor and evaporator. You'll see that's the little KIMS filter, which is very easy to change, located right there. Now, what's great about the KIMS system is it all comes from factory. So all these parts can be serviced when you take your truck in for regular maintenance. You don't have to go outside to another service department. The other great thing about it is it's battery powered, so you're not burning fuel when you're running the AC. When you're running the S-Bar, they average out about 0.02 gallons per hour of fuel consumption, which is very low compared to a 13 or a 15 liter engine. Also on the truck, you'll have the condenser behind the cab, just like with every generator or APU. You'll have 4 additional deep cycle batteries on the truck, separate from the engine and the rest of the truck components. You also have a larger 300 amp alternator to be able to charge all the batteries that are on your truck. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd here, behind the wheel of a Kenworth T680 equipped with an Endurant XD Pro transmission. This is an 18-speed automated manual transmission. What I'm going to explain to you today is how to change shift calibration modes on the XD Pro or the TX18 Pro, depending on the engine that's in your Kenworth truck. This is a great new option on these transmissions. I'm going to show you how it works, and at the end I'm going to explain to you why this is beneficial to your operations. So first, let's show you how to change between the first shift calibration and the second shift calibration on Endurant XD Pro 18-speed automated manual transmission. So it's really easy to change between modes on the transmission. You can be in neutral or in drive with your foot on the brake. You just need to be stopped. All you do is you hold the shifter stalk here in the up position for 5 seconds, and you'll see on that little end, you'll get a C2 that just appeared now. Now you're in the second shift calibration. If you want to go back, just the same procedure. You hold this here for 5 seconds, and the little C2 will disappear. So there is 3 different modes in the first position. There's standard, performance, and tanker. In the second shift calibration, you have the first 3 modes. You also have an off-road mode. Now, why would you want to change the shift calibration on your truck? Well, it depends on your operations. Obviously, if you're going off-road, you want to be in off-road mode, so adjust the shift calibration accordingly to get the best performance out of your transmission and out of your truck. And in the first modes, you have the standard, performance, and tanker. Whether you're full or empty, you might go from standard to performance. You might go from tanker to standard. You can play around with all these shift modes at your Kenworth dealer, but the best thing to do is make sure you order the truck properly from factory with a proper shift calibration. So make sure you talk to your sales rep about this great option on Kenworth trucks. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips. Matthew Ladd here. I'm back to show you guys some more features on Kenworth trucks. I'm currently sitting behind the wheel of a Kenworth T680 Next Gen, and I'm going to show you the speed limiter option. Now, before we get into how it works, what is the speed limiter? The speed limiter is controlled on the steering wheel here, and what it does is that it sets a max limit of speed. Now, why would you want this on your truck? Well, if you're in a construction zone or if you're in a yard with a speed limit of, let's say, 10 kilometers or 10 miles per hour, you can set the speed limiter to 10. So you can bring your focus to the road and to your surroundings, and no matter how hard you press on the gas pedal, it will not go past the speed limit that you've set on the truck. This is a great new feature, and now I'm going to show you how it works. I'm currently behind the wheel of the truck. As you can see here, you have the limiter option on your right. I'm currently in drive, but you can also do this in neutral. When you push on here, it lights up the cruise control button there, and then you click on limiter, and it will switch to the limiter option. Currently it limits at 16 kilometers an hour or 10 miles. You can adjust it up and down here on the settings. And now if I start driving, I won't be able to go faster than 16. Even with my foot down, the truck stays currently at 15, 16. There we go. So what this allows me to do is keep my eye on the road and my surroundings, instead of keeping my eye and always peeping down on the speedometer. So the speed limiter is a great option to have on your truck, and if you use it correctly, it can make your life easier when you're driving around in a construction zone, in a yard, or anywhere where you really want to keep your focus on everything around you and not on how fast exactly you're going. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips. Matthew Ladd here. This week I want to show you an option on the Kenworth T680, T880, and W990 sleeper. Behind me is the wardrobe section, which people often assume is standard with a door. That is the most popular option, but there's also this option here of the open wardrobe section with these retaining bars, which are easily removed. Just tap up like this and slide them out. Now, why would you want this on your truck? Well, most customers put this, they want to be able to slide luggage easily in the upper or the lower compartment. With the door, it does limit your space a little bit. But with a large item like luggage, it's easy to pop it in and pop it out, or any other large item you can think of. Or maybe you just don't like the door and you like the open space. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and I'll put the sales code in the description of this video. Thank you. Equipped with the emergency door or the window option, you have another latch right here, emergency exit only, and voila, you have an emergency exit just in case you cannot get out of the driver or the passenger door. Controls. So first you have to turn the system on, right behind the sleeper here. These are your up, down, heat, cold controls. Also change your options is right here with the little arrow. So the first option you click on, this is your different modes. You can be in auto, heat, or cooling. I always recommend being in auto. Then you click on this again. You have 3 different fan speeds, 1, 2, and 3. And you click one more time, you can see the hours of the KIM system. And then last time you can switch between Fahrenheit and Celsius. And then when you want to set your temperature, you're in auto, you just set it to the temperature you'd like, and it will hold that temperature on the truck. Matthew Ladd here with Packley's Montreal Leasing top tips for this week. This week I'm coming to you from the upper bunk of a sleeper behind the safety net that comes standard with every upper bunk. Let's take a look at some more options for your sleeper. With the upper bunk option, it comes with this great security net, which has a structure built into it to keep it off the driver's body. And this net easily secures by a clip up here at the top. So you just lift it up and lock it in. And when you want to pull it down, you have this great easy to use rope to bring the bunk down. Another option to consider in your sleeper instead of an upper bunk is additional storage with 2 cabinets, one on your left and one on your right, and a great recessed shelf in the middle with security netting. Also, which comes standard with the lower bunk, is security netting once again to keep the net off the driver's body but still be comfortable and secure. Now, the additional storage is great if you have a solo driver, and the second bed is a must if you're running teams. If you're not sure what you want to get, I always recommend getting the second bed, as this opens up a bigger resale market for your truck. And also, if you have a solo driver and he has to share the truck at some point, the other driver will sit on the upper bunk and not on the lower bunk that the original driver was using. And that's Packley's Montreal Leasing top tips for this week. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. How the ladder works. First off, it's in the safety stowed position. You simply slide it over here. Then you want to pull down the upper bunk first. We flip this open here, like so. And we push this part down. Always make sure you have at least 3 points of contact when going up and down. Safety first, and then you simply climb up. And just like that, you're comfortably seated in the top bunk of the sleeper. Matthew Ladd here. This week I want to show you this great option from factory that we have for yarding dollies. It's a Pintle hook with security loops and even options to put your glad hands and your 7-way mounted on the lighting bracket. This is important if you have a yarding dolly or a Jeep dolly. Everyone calls different things, but what it does is when you're pulling combination trailers, which is 2 53-foot trailers at the same time, you have a Jeep dolly that connects the 2 trailers together. Well, to unhook and to connect these trailers together, you need this option. And why pay more money to get it installed locally when you can get it directly from Kenworth factory? That's why I put the sales code in the description so you can talk to your Kenworth sales rep about it more. But it's a great option that you can add. Clean looking, directly from Kenworth factory. Amazing if you have a Jeep dolly type application. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, TrucksNTips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Often get confused DEF and fuel, thinking like fuel you can run it down until you're on fumes, just like we've all done in our car before, and get to the station and top it up. Well, it's not the case with DEF. What I always advise all my customers is when you get to a half tank DEF left, consider that you're empty. Next time you stop, fill it up. In general, the DEF will use 3 to 5% compared to the total amount of diesel fuel used. So for, let's say, it was 3 to 5 liters of DEF for every 100 liters of diesel. It's a general rule of thumb. The important part about the DEF system is when you get to a quarter tank remaining, you lose 25% of your engine power. When you get to 1/8 of a tank remaining, you lose 50% of your engine power, and chances are a check engine light's gonna light up. So that can create more issues. You're gonna have to go to the shop just because you didn't take the time to fill it up. Now, I know all the old school truck drivers out there aren't happy to hear this, but it is reality of our lives here and of the trucking industry. Matthew Ladd with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, TrucksNTips. Matthew Ladd here to talk to you this week about the Bendix side object detection system. The first thing I want to say is thank you to Benjamin Cuisset at Packley's Montreal for letting me use their truck show off the Vantage side object detection and the front radar system, which you'll see in the next video. If you're ever looking for trucks on full service lease in the Montreal area, contact Benjamin Cuisé at Pack Lease Montreal. Now to get to the system, we're located right here. What it is a blind spot detector system. I'm showing you on the outside right now, and I'll show you on the inside what it looks like from the driver point of view. What this system does, it sends the driver a warning if it detects an object, whether it be a car, a truck, or any object in the radar zone. The radar is about the size of a hockey puck for all us Canadians out there and cool Americans. And the system costs about $2,000 to get installed from factory and integrates really nicely into the truck. It's available on all Kenworth models. And now let's go look inside the truck to see what it looks like from the driver point of view. Now I'm actually in the passenger seat of the truck just to give you a better visual. So with the side object detector, it's located right here, mounted from factory. And when you have an object that is in your blind spot, the blind spot detector, it will light up red here and it will beep if there's an object located there. When there's no object, it just stays green. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, TrucksNTips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. It's just another safety feature brought to you by Kenworth that you should consider putting on your trucks today. Thank you. At the end of this video, for probably about 5 seconds, the user guide, just in case you guys missed something or just in case you want to review, so you don't have to keep watching the video. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, TrucksNTips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, TrucksNTips. Matthew Ladd here, back behind the wheel of a Kenworth 2.1 meter cab. Now when I'm saying 2.1 meter cab, I'm talking T680, T880, and W990. Today's case, I'm in a T880S that I'm waiting to deliver. What we're gonna show you today is the Kenworth Digital Dash. Now Kenworth came out with this dash last year with the VMUX computer infrastructure. And I want to take you through all the different options and all the different things you can do on the digital dash. What I really love about this new dash is that you're really techie. There's a lot of tech stuff. There's a lot of data and a lot of analytics you can pull. And if you're not so much, you can just hide that stuff away for somebody else. Let's go take a look at the steering wheel and the Kenworth Digital Dash. So I'll just take you quick through the steering wheel again. This is your cruise control or fast idle on off. This is to change your trip. This is the speed limiter option, which is covered in another video. I'll put a link in the description. Over here, you have your Bluetooth controls or change the radio station, AM, FM, CD, USB. This is your back button. This is your menu controls now, and you click on it to select different options. This is a shortcut button, which we'll show you later. And then here's the mute and the volume radio controls. So when you get really into the digital dash, this is the base screen that we're on now. Over here on your right, you'll see there's 5 little dots, actually 4 dots and 1 star. And if you go through the toggle switch, just going down, it'll light up a little lower menu for if you had a Bendix or a security cruise control system on it. Then when you go another level up, you'll get some of your gauges showing. Then you go one more step, you get all of your gauges showing. And at the bottom here, you have favorites, which you can put the gauges where you want, which I think is a great feature on these trucks. Now, to get into the menu, we'll just go back out of this screen here. We'll go to the main one. You click on the toggle switch. And now we're in the main menu. You can see your pre-check here and the notifications. If you're into analytics, we'll just show the trips. Now, it's a new truck, so there's not a ton of info on this one. But you can have up to 26 trips. Those days of an A trip and a B trip are behind us. Here we'll go into full trip and you can see time, fuel use, idle time. So you can really calculate your runs independently to see if it's cost effective for you, how much fuel you're using, how much idling you're doing, and everything else in between. And as I showed you in the first part of the video, here's your other settings, your general, your language, but you can make your own shortcuts. This is your favorites menu to set up the favorite gauges where you want them to be. And here are your shortcuts, which is that little shortcut button that I showed you at the start of the video, right there in the center. And this, you can set up a quick shortcut to either the dark cabin, the digital RPM, and various other options, depending on what you'd like to do. In this case, shortcut takes me right to my favorites view. Well, as you can see from the sweat dripping down this bald man's head, It's a hot one out here in Montreal. So it's a quick look at the digital dash and the different ways you can play around with it. Like I said, if you don't want to see a ton of stuff, you can just put the tachometer and the RPM. The truck will always pop up if there's a warning that's hidden away. It'll always automatically pop up, so you don't have to worry about missing anything along the way. It's a hot sunny day. I'm going to get back into the AC in Montreal. That's Group Kenworth Montreal TNT, Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd ici. Cette semaine, je vais vous faire une visite de camion virtuel. On a un camion ici, un Kenworth T680, présentement à vendre. Qu'est-ce que j'aime là-dessus? On a le gris noir. On a aussi le tow hook dans le centre pour quand tu es pris, c'est facile à sortir le camion. Toujours les convexes chrome sur le hood. Ce camion a un moteur Packard MX-13 510 HP, 1850 torque, double exhaust et une transmission 18 vitesses manuelle. Avec un ratio de 3,91, le camion est fait pour travailler. Les essieux arrière sont 46 000 livres avec différentiel full lock et le camion vient avec une transmission 18 vitesses manuelle. Ça, c'est parmi les choses que j'aime sur ce camion. Si vous voulez connaître plus de détails puis savoir le prix, contactez-nous directement à kenworthmontréal.ca ou au 514-735-2581. Ça, c'est TNT pour cette semaine et mon nom est Matthew Ladd. Merci. Matthew Ladd with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T. Trucks and Tips. Hello, I'm back in Montreal on this beautiful sunny March day to start talking to you about the Kenworth T680 Classic versus the Kenworth T680 Next Gen. Now, a little bit of history. The truck behind me here, the T680 Classic or Legacy as it's referred to now, was originally announced in 2012 to replace the Kenworth T660. Now, after many years, Kenworth has now designed the Kenworth T680 Next Gen right over my shoulder, which was announced last February 2021. Now, you still are going to see some 2023 model year T680s on the road. As of the end of March, they were still building the Classic, but now on, you'll get the T680 Next Gen if you're looking for that type of truck. Let's go take a look under the hood of both trucks. This is the Kenworth T680 Classic or Legacy model. You'll see you have your washer fluid mounted up here, your press stone mounted on the top, your air intake up here, your secondary and primary fuel filter, the cables that all go through the firewall in an easy to access location, and your air intake up top. It's hard to see in the picture, but it's a little bit more to the driver's side. Now we'll go right around the truck and check out the passenger side view. These are both trucks with Packard MX-13 engines. And here's your cab air filter just located right there. Now we'll flip over to the Next Gen. You'll see here the power steering fluid. It's changed shape. You'll notice you don't have the washer fluid or the press stone on top of the radiator. The press stone is now located right there near the firewall, and you add it right here on your right. You have the same sort of style entryway in through the firewall, and your air intake is a little more centered in the truck. And now if we go over to the passenger side, you have your washer fluid down mounted here on the frame rail, which is much easier to add it in as opposed to being up high on top of the radiator. And you still have your fuel filters located just over there. Now, one of the reasons Kenworth moved the washer fluid location and the antifreeze or press stone location was to be able to get a lower nose height, providing better visibility on the road. And that's part one of Group Kenworth Montreal TNT, Trucks and Tips series comparing the Kenworth T680 to the Kenworth T680 Next Gen. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Matthew Ladd here with Group Kenworth Montreal TNT, Trucks and Tips. This week, we're going to take a look at inverters. First off, what does an inverter do? It takes DC power or direct current power from the batteries and converts it into AC alternating current, or household power. This allows the driver to plug in a microwave, a laptop, or whatever else he needs to plug in to a household plug and run that instead of running the truck at nighttime, causing more idle time, which leads to greater issues. Today, we're going to take a look at an Eaton 1800 watt factory installed inverter. Let's go take a look. Now, where is the inverter located? It is underneath the sleeper bunk. So you reach under here. Now, once the bed is lifted up in the air, if you look down here at the back, this is an 1800 watt factory installed inverter. On the side of the inverter is a reset if you were ever to overload it. Now we're looking at the controls in the sleeper behind the driver's seat. Here is the inverter controls, in this case a factory installed Eaton inverter, and you simply press there to turn it on. What's great about factory installed inverters is it already comes with two plugs, one located here next to the TV mount and a secondary plug located here in the microwave storage space. So that's the 1800 watt Eaton inverter. I always recommend installing from factory as it already works with all the truck components and talks to the truck directly. If you need a larger inverter, you can also get one installed locally. When choosing an inverter, it's important to look at the products you want to plug in to make sure that you don't overload it. Now, all products will list the number of watts that the product pulls. It's generally recommended to add 20% to that total to do your calculations. And that's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Thank you. Matthew Ladd here to talk to you this week. You might have guessed it, about TruckTech Plus. This system on Kenworth trucks does a lot of amazing things. The biggest thing I want to talk to you about today is you can get up to 10-year subscription when you buy your truck from factory. It's really the best deal for you. You can go from 3 to 10 years. Now, what this allows you to do is get remote diagnostics, over-the-air updates, and service management of your truck. The key goal here we're talking about today is uptime, uptime, uptime. No more mystery check engines. You'll get an email telling you what is going on with the truck. You also know the 3 closest service centers right away, their address, their phone number, and their office hours. You can also manage your service through the portal. This is a great system. Make sure you talk to your Kenworth sales rep about the 3 to 10 year plan on Class 7 and Class 8 trucks. TruckTech Plus. Matthew Ladd with Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips. Today, I would like to talk to you about DEF tanks. There's different sizes of DEF tanks you can put on a truck, and like it or not, since 2010, you had one on your truck. What I want to talk about is the DEF level. DEF, for everybody out there, is diesel exhaust fluid, which cleans your exhaust in the DPF, or diesel particulate filter, before it goes out into the air. It actually is a very great product. It's on cars, it's on trucks. It's been around for a long time and just keeps improving year over year. Today, I want to talk to you about the DEF level. People often get confused, DEF and fuel, thinking like fuel, you can run it down until you're on fumes, just like we've all done in our car before, and get to the station and top it up. Well, it's not the case with DEF. What I always advise all my customers is when you get to a half tank DEF left, consider that you're empty. Next time you stop, fill it up. In general, the DEF will use 3 to 5% compared to the total amount of diesel fuel used. So for, let's say, it was 3 to 5 liters of DEF for every 100 liters of diesel. It's a general rule of thumb. The important part about the DEF system is when you get to a quarter tank remaining, you lose 25% of your engine power. When you get to an eighth of a tank remaining, you lose 50% of your engine power, and chances are a check engine light's gonna light up. So that can create more issues. You're gonna have to go to the shop just because you didn't take the time to fill it up. Now, I know all the old school truck drivers out there aren't happy to hear this, but it is reality of our lives here and of the trucking industry. Even most diesel cars, I think they all have them too. So keep it in mind, and if you get to under an eighth of a tank in the DEF tank, then you're going to lose 75% of your power. You're going to have a red check engine, and it's going to cost you a tow truck. Take the time, keep an eye on your DEF gauge, and take care of your trucks. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd here. This week I'm going to take you through the two different types of interiors that Kenworth offers on their 2.1 meter cabs, the Vantage and the Diamond interior. I'm going to show you guys what that option entails to know if it's right for you on your truck. Let's go take a look. Okay, so let's start with the front door. This is the panel on the Kenworth Vantage. Here is the door panel on a Diamond interior. This is the sleeper compartment on the Vantage interior. And here is the sleeper compartment with a Diamond interior. So that's a quick look at the difference between the Vantage and the Diamond interior. As you can see on the Diamond interior, you have this beautiful button tuck option, and there are some limited edition models with different color stitching here. There's also various colors available, but I just wanted to show you guys the big difference between the Vantage and the Diamond. And with all these trucks, in terms of your seat selection, just like all Kenworth trucks, they're custom spec. So just because you have the Diamond interior doesn't mean you have the top end seat. And just because you have the Vantage interior doesn't mean you have a low end seat. You can pick the seat for your truck when you spec it out with your sales rep. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd here, back this week, talk to you about a great option on Kenworth trucks when frame space is very important to you. That option is right there. It's a 7.3 US gallon DEF tank with a 75 gallon fuel tank, everything located underneath the cab. Why this is great is if you need clear frame space, whether you have an A-frame mounted on the truck or you need extra space for toolbox, this DEF tank here fits flush with the back of the cab. That's Group Kenworth Montreal T.N.T, Trucks and Tips, and I'm Matthew Ladd. Stay tuned for more tips in the future. Thank you. Matthew Ladd ici. Cette semaine sur TNT, je vais vous montrer le nouveau système de navigation et radio de Kenworth. Premièrement, c'est ça, ici, juste à côté du volant. Et vous avez ici l'option avec 6 gauges toujours là. Alors, le système de navigation et radio. Premièrement, pour le radio, vous cliquez juste ici. Oh, ça commence à jouer. On recule ici. Après ça, on a le Sirius XM. On a la musique Bluetooth. Et le Apple CarPlay, qui est une nouvelle option sur ce système quand vous connectez votre téléphone directement. Aussi, qu'est-ce qui est intéressant, il y a une option pour un caméra. Si vous avez une caméra de recul, vous pouvez brancher s'il est compatible avec le système navigation radio de Kenworth. Ici, c'est pour la luminosité du tableau de bord. La nuit, c'est mieux comme ça. Après ça, il y a l'option, si vous voulez les commandes par parole. Le Home, qui est vraiment une option géniale. Si on voit un écran comme radio et on clique sur Home, on recule. Sinon, on peut aussi cliquer sur radio, puis on clique ici pour reculer. Moi, j'aime plus comme ça, c'est plus facile quand vous travaillez. Et si vous mettez ça à off, ça montre ces infos suivantes, le jour de la semaine, la date puis l'heure. On peut le mettre à on. Contrôler notre volume ici facilement. Pour changer de langue, les réglages ici, super facile. On peut changer de date facilement. Puis si on scroll, on peut dire français, anglais ou espagnol. Après ça, aussi dans les réglages, on a des autres options d'affichage ici. On a pour la musique, l'égaliseur. On continue ici. Ça, c'est les appareils qui sont connectés. Si vous avez plusieurs chauffeurs, vous pouvez avoir plusieurs appareils connectés. Alors, quand vous changez de camion, c'est facile d'avoir ton connexion directe. Et ici, ça, c'est les contrôles pour l'unité principale, puis aussi pour le Apple CarPlay. Si on fait Home ici pour reculer, on peut avoir ici aussi dans la navigation. Qu'est-ce qui est génial, c'est dépendant de votre application, vous allez ici dans Settings, puis vous pouviez mettre le setting de votre véhicule, le maximum, la longueur, la largeur, l'hauteur, le nombre de remorques, le nombre d'essieux, puis le type de travail que vous faites aussi. C'est vraiment un système très bien fait. C'est génial pour avoir les bons préférences pour votre navigation, parce que tout le monde dans le transport, on sait que la navigation ordinaire, c'est pas un camion avec un remorque 53 pieds ou un dompeur avec un bend de 15 pieds. Alors, peu importe votre situation, ça c'est une très belle option à ajouter à votre camion Kenworth. assurez à parler à votre représentant si vous aimeriez connaître plus sur cette option de Kenworth. Mon nom est Matthew Ladd et ça c'est T.N.T. pour Groupe Kenworth Montréal pour cette semaine. Merci. This is the sleeper compartment on the Vantage interior. And here is the sleeper compartment with a diamond interior. Matthew Ladd ici. Cette semaine, j'aimerais vous montrer une belle option pour être capable d'enlever vos braquettes de Mudflap sur le derrière de ton camion. Cette option est disponible de l'usine de Kenworth. Je vais mettre le code de vente dans la description du vidéo. Je vais vous montrer comment ça marche. Simplement, tu as un pin ici sur le braquette. Cette option est très intéressante quand vous avez une application que ça nécessite un petit peu plus d'espace en arrière. Alors, on enlève ça, comme ça. On enlève le pin qui est ici. Et juste comme ça, j'ai le braquette de Mudflap dans mes mains. Maintenant, où est-ce qu'on va mettre ça? Je vais vous montrer ça. On a un espace sur le frame exactement pour prendre le Mudflap en attendant. Alors maintenant, je suis sur le côté. On va mettre ça à terre. Un instant. On va ici. On enlève le pin. On a un petit braquette ici pour mettre sur l'autre braquette qui est montée sur le frame en arrière pour le protéger. On va mettre ça de côté pour l'instant. On prend notre Mudflap ici. Ça monte directement là-dedans. Comme ça. Et on remet notre pin. Et juste comme ça, vous êtes capable de déplacer vos Mudflaps. Alors, si c'est important pour vous autres d'avoir cette option, c'est une façon facile d'avoir ça de l'usine directement pour moins cher qu'une installation locale. C'est le groupe Kenworth Montréal T.N.T. pour cette semaine et mon nom est Matthew Ladd. Merci.